First tip for the side laners in the chat: when the laning phase starts breaking down around the 7 to 9 minute mark, maybe a little bit later, the lower MMR you go, it is of the utmost importance that your pull camp is unblocked. So the large camp if you're the offlaner, or the small camp if you're the carry. Why? Because the map starts to get very sus around that point. Heroes are rotating and you can die. However, if you're pulling your camp every minute, you are making sure that you can farm safely, because the enemy creep wave will be close to or at your tower. So it's very hard for you to get ganked. On top of this, you are making the enemy step out of position for their wave. And what this does is it makes your lane easier to gank from your teammate's perspective. Because if I'm carry and I pull my small camp and then the offlaner decides to contest the pull, which he kind of has to, which they will do a lot of the time, he's behind my tower. Suddenly he's behind my tower and 1 TP and it's an easy kill. But a lot of people don't recognize that this look comes from first pulling. So it's worth it, guys, to buy a sentry on core for this if your support doesn't unblock it. Technically, if you're support, you should. Before you leave the lane, make sure that the small camp's unblocked, or if you're 4, that the large camp's unblocked, because it is a big deal. But all of the benefits definitely outweigh the 50 gold cost for a sentry ward. Next tip is to do the raid tutorial using my beginner link. And this is actually a tip, guys, no meme, because if not enough of you do this, then my Dota content goes, because Game Leap and I don't sign a long-term contract. If not enough of you guys sign up for raid and I become homeless. Every single sign up, guys, goes a really, really long way, especially right now, because I'm on the last few days of my trial with Game Leap. And it really is down to the wire on if I get this long-term deal. Guys, this is the single best thing you can do to support me right now. I would literally rather you do this than just give me money. And it really is a win-win, because the Dota content you know and love from me continues, the videos, the streams, and I get to make a living doing what I love. And it doesn't cost you anything to do this. And the whole process takes 5 to 10 minutes from the second you click the link. You have to do the tutorial for me to get credit. And guys, I will be the first to admit that raid is a stupid pay to win game. If it's not your cup of tea, no harm, no foul. All you need to do to support me is do the tutorial. And thank you for doing it if you have, or if you're going to right now. Thank you very much. I know a lot of you have already done it. And it really, really, from the bottom of my heart, guys, means a lot to me. If you do like it, you know, at the end of the day, it is chill. It's a stupid pay to win game, but it is chill. You can join my clan. I'm playing it every day. I make videos about it, and my clan is getting pretty powerful. And guys, if you're planning on doing this, but just haven't gotten around to it, go do it now, because we all know what happens to things we put off. They just don't get done. Pause the video, click the link, go do the tutorial right now, and then come back for the rest of the tips. Tip number 3, the best way to land a meat hook is if the enemy cannot see you. And this applies to every skill shot, guys. Stand in the fog, because if people expect the skill shot coming, they will dodge it, and it's just very hard to hit. So instead, just make it easier for yourself and surprise the enemy. You can predict their movement very, very easily if they don't know to dodge, or if the enemy is stunned. So this one, if they're stunned, it sounds really simple, guys, but I say it, and I shouldn't have to, but I say it, because the amount of times that players, even in my lobbies, will just like fire off that hook. They'll just fire off the hook when my Ember Spirit is about to slight change. He's like a second away of slight changing, and the Pudge will just whiff the hook. They'll just whiff the hook. Just wait for them to be stunned, because it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. And I know you don't get the dopamine rush of hitting a hook on a moving target who knows it's coming, but please, I promise, the dopamine rush from winning the game will make up for it, guys. Here's a rule for warding. Whenever you place a ward, you should feel like you are in danger. If you feel safe somewhere, don't ward it, because in general, you want to ward parts of the map the enemy has control of so you can see them and kill them. This is a general rule, there are exceptions, but this applies most of the time. And while I'm talking about warding, buy wards on cores. They are free. And a perfect early game ward for side lane cores is right in front of the enemy T1 tower. The amount of times this has saved me from some Storm Spirit or some Queen of Pain trying to TP into my lane and freak on me is ridiculous. Super value ward right there. And a lot of the time, dying like that in the early game can be the difference between winning or losing a close game, because everything in Dota compounds. Next tip is to take the early game pill, guys. The early game really matters. When you're analyzing the game after, think about what happened in the early game, because it's more replicable and everything in Dota compounds. Next tip, committing TP is a big deal. You should treat your TP like an ultimate ability. 9 times out of 10, guys, 9 times out of 10, do not use it to TP to a T2 right after you respawn in the mid game. Okay, unless there's a fight going on near it. Because what happens if you do this, and this is a greed play, usually it's a greed play, is that you won't have it when a key fight is happening across the map. And then when this happens, what people will do is they'll just ping their TP like it was on cooldown, and they won't think it's their fault. It is your fault because you TP'd to the T2 for no reason right after respawning. Just run out of base. Just run out of base. You can't use not having TP as an alibi, because having it up for moments when you need it is a skill, right? It is a skill. Saving it is a skill. And we can also reverse engineer this tip to take advantage of enemy TPs, right? If we see a key enemy commit TP to one side of the map, go smoke to the other side of the map and take a fight, because you know that they can't be there for 20 seconds after the fight breaks out. Next tip goes out to the support in the chat. When I play support, here's what I ask myself every minute. Am I being a useless piece of shit right now? And unfortunately, when you start asking yourself this question, you will probably find that the answer is yes most of the time, especially if you're filling on support. So if you're being useless, just go do something useful. That's the point of this question, right? It doesn't have to be this grand 5-man smoke that wins your team the game. It can be as simple as just following your carry around and stacking camps for them, right? Doing something small like this is infinitely more useful than just being a useless piece of shit, right? And most supports, they do nothing. They do nothing for most of the game. Doing small things like this, stacking, you know, it can even be sitting behind a core in a side lane to save them if they get gone on, or to get a kill with them if an enemy shows. Doing these small things, not being useless, is what will make the difference between winning and losing on support. And it doesn't need to be the perfect play. It can just be something, right? It can just be something. And I have faith that you can come up with something to do that is impactful. It can be bigger too, right? Like around the 7 to 8 minute mark, sometimes you're useless in your lane, like you're not doing anything. So then you rotate and you get a kill, game winning kill. But yeah, this applies to every stage of the game. And for small things, big things, this is a perfect like question to ask yourself on support. This should be your North Star on support. You should ask yourself that question. Next tip, guys, next tip, eat a tango before you trade in lane and when you're fighting, right? Not after. You want the tango to be cooking when you are fighting. Makes a really big difference, especially if you fight to the death. And if you eat it late, it does nothing. There are a lot of times when I eat a tango late and I, you know, lose the fight by like 20 HP, and I just kick myself and say, if I hit the tango earlier, I would have gotten the kill. It's true. And this is a laning tip if it wasn't clear, guys. The earlier you employ this tip, the more powerful it is. Next tip, guys, push the creep waves. Always, guys, only good things happen when you push creep waves. Next tip is that only good things happen when you play in the enemy jungle. After the enemy mid tower and safe lane T1s are gone, go push in the waves and play in the enemy jungle under a ward. You will kill noobs trying to farm there alone because they think it's safe. But it's actually the reverse, guys. In the mid game, the enemy jungle is actually safer than your jungle. Everybody gets this flipped most of the time. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it's mostly because if you kill the enemy in their jungle and the waves are pushed, right? You can translate that straight into objectives because the waves will be pushed in and you're close, right? And if you die, and on the contrary, if you die in the enemy jungle, it doesn't really matter because the enemy won't get objectives over it. And the opposite goes as well, right? If you die in your own jungle, you're giving the enemy objectives and you're like forfeiting the game. And you're making the game easier for them. But if you're up on the map and the enemy kills you, they don't get anything out of it, right? So it's an imbalanced like risk reward, right? When you go in the enemy jungle and you push in their waves. You're taking on not that much risk, but the reward you can get is like very high. This is a reminder to download a raid and do the tutorial if you're planning on doing it. We're coming up on the last day here, guys. Every single sign up makes a huge difference. Whatever happens, I just want to thank every single one of you for your support and for allowing me to live the Dota creator lifestyle, you know, for the last 3 months, for the last year. It's been an awesome ride. Whatever happens, guys. Whatever happens, just know I'm super grateful for that and I will never forget. And none of it would have been possible without your support on my videos, especially all you OGs who have been around for a long time. This has been a super meaningful journey. Whatever happens from here.